Hello everyone! Ever found the Volkswagen Caddy a little too boring because of how popular it has become? Look no further everyone, this is a perfect alternative to the Volkswagen Caddy, the Ford Tourneo everyone, the all-new Ford Tourneo. Now, some good news is this is the new generation. It looks really desirable, it looks cool, but the bad news is it's basically a Volkswagen Caddy underneath the skin, guys. But it isn't all that bad. Now, it should be noted that this is not the first time Volkswagen and Ford had a sort of collaboration for certain models. 20 years ago, they had a collaboration for the Volkswagen Passat and the Volkswagen Sharan, also known as Ford Mondeo and Ford Galaxy. Now, the thing about this, now it's not entirely clear who exactly was leading this collaboration. Was it Volkswagen that had most of the say, or was it Ford that had most of the say? Both parties are influential players. However, when it comes to the EU market, Ford dominates the British Isles and Ireland as well, whereas Volkswagen pretty much dominates the continent of Europe. This Ford Tourneo costs 35,000 euros. Is it good value for money or not? We're gonna find out in a moment, guys. Let's get on with this review right now. So as I mentioned earlier to all of you, this is closely related to the Volkswagen Caddy. So therefore, a lot of the side of it resembles the Caddy, and it's very evident to me. Front is where the differences are. So the front has the same design as other Ford models. It looks very American, just as American as the Ford Edge itself. In fact, it does look like the Ford Edge a bit, and the Ford Explorer. Very interesting how they've gone about it. And then the wheels, guys, the wheels is also very Ford-ish. These headlights are sourced from Ford, guys. This particular Ford Tourneo is the active pack. So whenever you choose the active pack, you get this sort of trimming on it, guys. So it looks good. It's you get this hard plastic, and it gives this crossover SUV vibe. But if I had the choice, I would avoid the active pack because you don't really need this on the side unless you go traveling a lot on the countryside. I would go straight for the other packages which do not have this to make it look more interesting and desirable. Now from this angle, it looks very similar to the Volkswagen Caddy, but the difference is you get the Ford badge right here, parking sensors at the front and at the rear, but you only get a rear view parking camera, guys. Now looking at the exterior of this Ford Tourneo, I don't know if it's just me, but I couldn't help but notice how the hard plastic on the side looks a bit loose, guys. Look at this from here. Look at this. It looks as if it's about to peel off, guys. And it looks as if, like, there's just so much gap between the bodywork and the plastic. Just take a look at this, guys. There's just so much gap right here. One of the problems being, the rear light looks very modernized. It looks very cool, guys. But then watch what happens when we approach the side indicator. This side indicator, I think we are all the way back to year 2000s, guys. The 2000s. Look at this. This is old school. What was Volkswagen and Ford thinking? Now at the front you get conventional handles like this, but for the rear doors you get handles like this, guys. So little thing you have to pull. Now this could be a reference to ancient Volkswagen Transporter models, because I recall that the T3 and the T2, they had handles like this. So there's a handle and there's a thing you have to pull, and then only the door opens. Now the interior is driver-centric, but this is obviously a Volkswagen, guys, and there's hard plastic all over the interior. If this is something to question or not, you all be the judge, but I think this is something okay, but it depends on what context are you using this. For example, if this is used by a construction firm, it would make sense, because if there's dust everywhere, it's easy to wipe clean, easy to maintain, guys. And the presence of hard plastic is a very common practice for small vans of this size and segment and price. I saw this in the Renault Kangoo, I saw this in the Volkswagen Caddy, and I, not surprisingly, saw this in Stellantis minivans, like the Peugeot Citroën. So when it comes to the interior, guys, steering wheel is adjustable, up, down, in and out. It's good, easy to adjust. Easy to reach. Everything is at my reach, guys. This is one thing I really like. And now Ford has had a reputation of driving pleasure, guys. This is their reputation in the mass market. But in this interior, because it's majorly based on a Volkswagen, you don't really sense that driving pleasure. And the first problem I would like to point out is the steering wheel. It's so thick, guys, so thick to hold on to. It's almost as if it was taken from a Ford Mustang. Interior of the Ford Tourneo, everyone. So first thing first, let's take a look at the seats. The seats are very Ford-ish, at least to me. The way they've done the stitching and everything. It reminds me of what I've seen before on the Ford Galaxy. Over here is your infotainment system. Over here is your instrument cluster. It's not digital, unfortunately. And this can be questionable because competitors offer digital instrument clusters at this price, mainly from Stellantis. So I'm talking about Peugeot, Citroën, Opel, and Fiat. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Volkswagen took initiatives to making their cars very simple in the interior. So minimal use of buttons and more technology, basically, like more touch screens and everything. So as you can tell, the presence of buttons is very minimal. It's right here, guys, all just some basic buttons for your climate controls. Now let's just have a look at Practicality solutions, guys. So you get an additional storage space right here. Well, this is your wireless telephone recharge, but you can also use this place as your storage. You get some charging ports right here, although they're just left over there exposed as if they were an afterthought. Anyways, 12-volt socket right here, guys. And speaking of 12-volt sockets, you get an additional storage space up here with another 12-volt socket right there. 2 cup holders of fixed sizes, micro storage space right here. And you get to, first of all, this nice armrest that's adjustable. So like this, you can lean your arm right here if needed. And you get the central console storage, guys. Look at this. Central console storage. It's average for its price and segment. And you do get this nice glove box right here. Now the glove box is also average. Additional storage space right underneath the passenger seat, guys. Now I have to say I really like this handle over here. It's quite nice. And the door bin is as good as it has to be. It can fit a big water bottle, but if you want, you can have this accessory, which is optional. You get an additional storage space right here, guys. Now this could be ideal for your glasses because unfortunately you do not get any glasses holder. No glasses holder, but you do get a panoramic roof that you cannot close, guys. It's just there. Now, whilst exploring the interior of this Ford Tourneo, I have to say it was impressive, guys. But similar to the Volkswagen Caddy, it faces some problems. First problems I'd like to point out is that the Volkswagen Caddy and the Ford Tourneo have left the charging ports exposed, just like this, as if they were an afterthought. Whereas most car manufacturers tend to put them in a more interesting spots, like perhaps away from such exposure like this. Because when you leave it like this, through time, dust can accumulate. And what happens is the dust can go in there. Now Ford decides to put the start-stop button down there instead of putting it there. Now, Ford steering wheels are great. As I mentioned earlier, Ford is known for its driving pleasure in the mass market, but this steering wheel is unusually thick, guys. It's too thick to hold on to. It's almost as if it comes straight from a Ford ST line vehicle, like maybe the Ford Mustang itself. So, like, what's with the steering wheel, guys? Now it's time to check out the rear seat of the Ford Tourneo, everyone. So over here, rear seat. Unquestionable legroom, unquestionable knee room, and unquestionable headroom, guys. In terms of space, there's no question over there. Ease of entrance, and there's also another benefit. Because these doors are sliding doors, you do not have to worry about accidentally hitting somebody else's car or accidentally hitting the walls, guys. Sliding doors are very advantageous in this regard. Now, when it comes to the rear seat, guys, I feel like it's really good, but then at the same time, I'm under the impression something is missing. Let's talk about it right now. But there's already one problem, guys. I want to climb out, or I want to climb inside. There's nothing for me to hold on to, because usually whenever I climb into a car, I always hold on to something. So whether it's a handle here or a handle right above, but there's nothing. There's nothing for me to hold on to. So I have to hold on to the driver's seat, the head of the driver's seat, and I have to help myself out. This is not normal, especially given that it's a car related to the Volkswagen product. And speaking of Volkswagen product, I noticed the exact same problem on the Volkswagen Caddy itself. And given that Volkswagen, you know, is known for its quality, so how is this qualitative? There's no doubt that 3 people can sit in the back easily, guys. It's like a minivan. Very good. You get a nice tray right here. Yeah. The thing, you have to get used to those trays, guys. I noticed the same thing on the Volkswagen Touran. The Touran. They have like very interesting trays. But you get the point. These trays are very solid. They don't wobble about. Air conditioning right here. 2 charging ports down there, guys. And a nice flexible pocket right here. Now the door bin is okay for its segment. It cannot really fit a big water bottle. But there's literally nothing going on over here. There's nothing. No handle, nothing. It's just hard plastic, guys. Otherwise, you do get this latch over here to have some fresh air from outside, but that's about it, guys. There's nothing interesting happening. You do get a nice coat hook over there, and you get a beacon of hope lighting, and I needed this because I need some hope right now in the back seat. At the moment, I don't see much hope. Now over here is the rear space of the Ford Tourneo, guys. Pretty spacious, and it's quite nice, quite pleasant. We're gonna check it out right now. It's super spacious that you can actually go camping with this. Forget about the bigger vans. Get this, guys. So over here, I've won the rear storage space of the Ford Tourneo. You get tether points throughout the interior. Unfortunately, you get this Volkswagen badge on each of the tether points. So just bear it, guys. You'll have to be reminded this is a Volkswagen Caddy. But otherwise, aside from that, it's spacious. Additional space right here, guys. Beacon of hope lighting for the boot space, and you get a 12-volt socket right here. Now, if you guys are a fan of exposed metal, you're gonna love the Caddy and the Ford Tourneo because there's just about so much exposed metal. But if you were expecting some details, yes, I feel like it's a bit disappointing. It's a bit of an afterthought, guys, because most competitors would offer something desirable, like perhaps some, you know, insulation or something more interesting. But here it's a bit of an afterthought. And I noticed the same problem with the Caddy. So here's my conclusion of the Ford Tourneo, guys. I have absolutely no idea what exactly Ford was aiming for here, but my biggest guess tells me production cost. Something to do with production cost, because they developed the new Ford Ranger just recently, and it was quite it's a successful thing. I love the Ford Ranger, but when it comes to the business perspective of things, it must have been pretty expensive for Ford. So I think Ford wanted a compensation. So they thought, okay, let's just put out all the money we have on the Ford Ranger and let's save up the cost and ask Volkswagen to help us over there. And Volkswagen decided, okay, I'll help you over there, but in that condition, you help me with the Volkswagen Amarok. And so they said, okay, deal, shake hands, and then voila. The small van segment is a segment that not many car manufacturers really care that much about, except the French car manufacturers. The French car manufacturers were born from small vans and cars. They grew because of small vans and cars. So naturally, they were very good at it, and that's why they care a lot about it. And from there, we come to the big question. For a price of 35,000 euros, is this Ford Tourneo good value for money or not? It is good value for money, and here's why. There were quite a number of equipment missing, and there was hard plastic throughout the interior, despite it being a passenger version, guys. Now, as I explained earlier, it's a common practice to have hard plastic throughout the interior, but at least you have to make it desirable. They focused too much on simplicity, and you know, for this segment, you don't really need to worry about simplicity. You need to worry about functionality. Humble opinion of this Ford Tourneo. Oh, I love it so much. Compared to the Volkswagen Caddy, this Ford Tourneo is a tornado, guys. It looks far more interesting and it looks far more desirable because the Volkswagen Caddy has simply become too boring because it's everyone's top choice. I need something unique. This is the Ford Tourneo. It's unique in its own ways. I love it. Yay. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run. And please let me know in the comment section what in your view is the best small van for the small van segment.